one of Long Beach Poly's finest, is sitting right next to me right here. Snoop will be on this show 1 week from today in studio, and his good friend Willie McGinest joins me right now. How are you, Willie?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you.
Yes, good to see
I'm
you.
excited for you to be here for many reasons. One, I love you, and I love hanging out with you, and I've known you for years, and I love when you come stop by here. But who knows better about getting Peyton Manning off the spot than you and the Patriots in all of those years?
Right.
And my first question for you is this offense that Gary Kubiak is running. It's proven to have been successful before and win Super Bowls as well. But you and the Patriots and everybody, ever since Peyton Manning has proven to be Peyton Manning, coming off the campus at Tennessee, the concept has been get him off the spot.
Right.
Get him off the spot. He's not comfortable running, not comfortable moving. This offense gets him off the spot by design.
Right.
Isn't that just on its face topsy-turvy?
Well, I think it's also based off the run game. If you look at what Kubiak did with the Texans, and you look at what John Elway did when he was there, it's based off the run. A lot of success in the running game, and you open up things down the field. And I think Peyton Manning has some experience with doing that in Indianapolis, the stretch runs and coming off of that, throwing the ball down the field. But everybody has to remember, he's in his 17th year. He's not the same Peyton Manning. His arm's not the same. And if you look at what they did last week, 2.8 yards per carry is not going to get it done. They have to run the football effectively, in my opinion, for this offense to be successful, and they hadn't done that.
So the running game is what was deficient on Sunday more than the passing game, is what you're saying?
Well, they had 25 carries for only 69 yards. So if you're not running the ball effectively, teams and defenses are not going to respect it. So you have to run the football, else guys are not going to load the box. They're going to keep guys back because they know how dangerous Peyton could be in the passing game.
But I mean, you're a GOAT who spent, how many years were you in the National Football League?
15.
Yeah, that's right.
Just 15.
So, but your 15th year learning a new defense. I mean, now here's Peyton Manning's 17th year learning a different offense than the one that he's had to control.
Yeah, well, you know
years.
what?
How do you deal with that?
I think he's so experienced, and he's so above a lot of other quarterbacks or guys who even played the game. He's a student of the game. I think they incorporated what Kubiak likes to do, and they also are trying to incorporate what Peyton likes to do. I'm sure he has some influence over the offense. And we're going crazy because he didn't complete the deep ball or certain passes, or we say he doesn't have the same velocity. I don't know what quarterback in their 17th year that does. But what I can say is he's one of the best. And playing him all my years, he is one of the best at making adjustments, going back, watching film, seeing what didn't work, what wasn't effective, and changing up. So I'm sure going against this ferocious Kansas City defense, there's a lot of adjustments that's been made.
Willie McGinest here on the Rich Eisen Show studio floor. So what happens tonight? What do you think happens tonight between the Chiefs and the Broncos, Willie?
I think they're going to try to keep them off balance. I think Peyton's going to try to pick up the tempo a little bit. You talked about that. It was a little lethargic, the tempo, and them kind of being a little sluggish. I think he picks up the tempo. I think he gets the ball out of his hands. The last few years, the Denver Broncos, they've had success, but it's been short to intermediate routes. It hasn't, 20 yards or more, the passes going deep. That really hasn't been the identity of that offense. So I think they're going to try to run the ball, and they're going to get the ball off quick with multiple formations to keep Kansas City off balance.
So what can Kansas City do? Do you think Kansas City wins this game tonight?
Well, I think if I'm the defensive coordinator and I'm in that defensive meeting, the first thing we're going to do is negate the run. We got to stop the run. We want to make Peyton Manning one-dimensional. We want to take that away. Now, if we get him to be one-dimensional, now we got the pass rushers and the personnel to get after him.
Are you saying that a defensive coordinator is now going into rooms before facing Peyton Manning and saying, let's have a scheme that says, let's have Peyton Manning try to beat us? Is that what you're saying?
No,
right
I think in general, every defense, and I've played with some great defensive coordinators, the one thing you have to do is you can't get beat in the run game and the passing game. You have to figure out what you need to do to make a team one-dimensional. You take away those weapons, right? So going in, if they're having success on the ground, obviously that's going to open up everything on the back end. You got to stop the run. It starts there. And then you got Houston, you got Tamba, you got Poe, you got Johnson, you got all these great defensive athletes that can rush the passer, get after Peyton Manning. That's where you want them. You want them to be one-dimensional. You want them sitting in the pocket so you can turn the guys up front loose.
So I'm going to ask you point blank.
Okay.
The poll question. Ask it of Willie McGinest, Chris Brockman, RichEisenshow.com.
Who wins the game tonight, Willie?
I think Kansas City wins. I like, and it's not, and I know the defense has been solid, and Peyton Manning, he's had his way with that defense or found out how to slow him down. But I think the offense for the Kansas City Chiefs is better with Kelsey, Macklin, Niles, Davis. You got the running backs. You got all that. I think this offense is more efficient. I think they're going to score points. And once you get ahead, then it's a different football game because it eliminates the running game, Rich.
Yep.
And now you got Peyton Manning back in the back, sitting out there, being one-dimensional.
Right.
And this defense is going to take advantage of that.
Well, there'd be a big win because
they need it.
The Chiefs need it. They have to. They got to win this. You got to win your home division games, and certainly against the team that you're trying to beat. Certainly, the team you're trying to beat is quote unquote vulnerable. And next up, they're at Green Bay for Monday Night Football for Week 3, and then they move on to Cincinnati. Yeah. Fascinatingly enough, they're at Cincinnati. So that's their next few weeks.
And you got to get over the hump. You got to beat Denver. You got to be dominant against Denver in that division. Denver's had in the last 3 years they've had the first round bye. You've got to take over. You got to take it over.
I agree. Willie McGinest right here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, let's talk about the Patriots and the Bills because Rex is saying a lot, which is his usual want, but he had the play for Week 1 to back it up.
It's warranted.
What do you think about this Bills defense?
I love it. I love it. The only question I had was the back end. You know, and I was talking about the Bills and what they do up front and how they get after people in the linebacker position. They're young linebackers that are hungry, that fast, that get to the ball. My only question is what's going to happen on the back end. And when Ron Darby came in the game, when I saw Stephon Gilmore and Williams and Rambo, the way they were playing, I was like, he's got to figure it out. Like, these guys are playing on another level right now. And that was exciting to watch. So I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be very competitive. And it's tough to play in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. It's one of the toughest places to play.
So, you know what I noticed on the Thursday night opener between the Patriots and the Steelers? Of everything that I noticed.
What?
Because I'm an optics guy. And I noticed these things. Tom Brady, after a game on NBC, pretty much almost always, if they win, goes and does the post-game interview.
Of course.
And he does the post-game interview, and he finishes by saying, "Hi, Mom," and means it, right?
Yep.
And then runs off and does his post-game responsibilities. This week, he didn't go. He didn't talk. He ran, right, and he did his post-game responsibilities, but he did not speak on NBC. And I'm wondering if that's like, well, okay, this is a marquee event for the NFL. I'm not doing that stuff. Am I reading anything into this, or just how is Tommy handling all of what happened and into this playing season, Willie?
I think he's trying to put it past him. And honestly, he's my brother. I spend time with him. We talk. I was there in the offseason. I think he was a little hurt, you know, by all that he's done for the NFL on and off the field. I think he was hurt by what went on. And like I've always said, I've always taken the position, this is not good for the NFL or the Patriots or Tom or nobody. So I think right now he just wants to concentrate on football. I don't think he wants to get into all the questions. He doesn't want to talk about anything else. He's excited about being with his teammates. And that's the one thing that was bringing him down, the possibility that he may not be on the field playing with his teammates in Week 1.
So that energy hasn't been sapped, is what you're saying, the normal Brady energy.
Oh, no.
But the energy of basically saying, I'm not going to do the extra stuff. I'm not doing that extra stuff,
well,
right? I mean,
I think you got to give it some time.
Is it right to read into the fact like that?
I think you got to give it time. I think you got to let him just get back into his normal mode. And it's still fresh, you know? The wound is still open a little bit. I think it's still fresh. Now, he's not the type of guy, the type of man that's going to sit there and just hold grudges and constantly think about that because he has so many other things going on, meaning football.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get easier. They're the defending champs. The target is on their back. They got some young pieces on that offense. They got to figure out how to get better. They have some injuries. They got things. So his job is solely to get this team ready to play. So, of course, that may be in the back of his mind. Those wounds are still fresh, but he's trying to focus all his energy towards getting prepared and win good.
Other thing I noticed is that with obviously all eyes on the footballs on that first game,
Right.
and the deflator not in the building, he went 13 for 16 in the first half, torched him with footballs that one would think were properly inflated, and whatever alleged scheme was in place, the guy who was the one to stick the pins in him, he wasn't in the building, and he went ahead and did that.
Right.
The deflator, however, is back. He was reinstated along with Yastrzemski yesterday.
Right.
Now, I would understand Yastrzemski, but the deflator, the texts of what he was saying about Brady, I mean, is that an issue? I mean, is that an issue?
So. If he's back, it's not an issue. Because if he's in an organization which they consider family,
Sure.
I don't know in what capacity he's coming back to.
Well, he's coming back as the deflator, isn't he?
No.
Well, I assume it's just his same role if he's taking care of the officials.
I don't
locker
know.
room.
Like,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what role.
Right.
Maybe his role changes, but at the same time, he was part of the family. And since the charges were dismissed, then
I'm here with Willie
He's back.
McGinest here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Can I ask Willie one on these two guys? Because you were there when they were there. What is the expectation of you as a player with ball boys or clubhouse attendants in terms of they take care of your shoulder pads, they take care of your laundry, they do all this stuff?
Right.
Is there any expectation of monetary or gift, or is it on a person-by-person basis?
Well, here's something interesting. I'm glad you asked. John was a young boy when he came into the Patriots.
The assistant locker room attendant.
Yeah, and John, like I used to take care of John weekly in camp to carry my pads and do extra things for me.
Right.
And this exists in every locker room. You have those young guys that are ball boys, and some of them turn out to be college players and go on to be in the league. Remember, I was a ball boy for you
Larry
guys.
Fitzgerald was for the Vikings.
There you
yeah.
go, exactly. Great example. So John was a special guy to me in that locker room. He took care of me as a young boy, and I watched him spend years and years growing up to advance to the position he's in now. So there are special relationships between the players and between, the faculty and staff in those locker rooms.
Now, I want to ask you about Cam Chancellor, because the only situation that's it's fascinating to me that this compares to is Lawyer Malloy, right? And everybody thought, well, when Lawyer Malloy got cut and things were happening, then you guys would be finished.
Right.
Now, obviously, Cam Chancellor hasn't been cut, but he has been, in a way, cut out of the locker room right now, and he is the guy that so many people looked up to. So what do you
Still
think?
look up to.
Right. I know. I'm using the past tense right now because he's not there. And I guess if you're not there, then you're. It is past tense in a way.
Yeah.
It sure looks like he's not playing this week. What is going on with Seattle, and how do you think that's affecting the scene there in that locker room?
Well, you mentioned Lawyer Malloy, and the difference was you had Rodney Harrison coming in. So you kind of had, although it hurt us to lose Lawyer, you still had Rodney coming in. I think in this situation, it's Deion Bailey, a younger guy. They're trying to put in that position.
Who fell down in the first time
Which
out there.
doesn't look good.
No.
Because it directly points that you need your guy there. A guy who lifts everybody's spirits, who mentally gets these guys ready, who's pretty much the rock in the secondary and on that defense. He is the guy who brings so much leadership, and it's not just going up, knocking guys' chin straps loose and making them big hits and big plays, but it's off the field as well, keeping guys together, keeping guys mentally ready and prepared, and keeping the expectations level, keeping guys kind of on the same altogether. He's that glue. And I think when you look at it from a Seattle Seahawks point of view, is they're trying to set the precedent. If we do deals with guys and, okay, a couple of years go by or a year go by and those guys outplay the contracts and other players sign deals, the market changes every year, every day. Somebody signs, it just keeps going up. How do you maintain that, Rich? How do you control that? Michael Bennett, before the season, he wanted a new deal.
Well, control it by all you guys of the Patriot way take less.
Well,
I mean, you guys.
But see, not necessarily true. It's like Gronk got paid. Certain guys get paid, but if your performance, you see other guys, other safeties. I don't know what's Cam, like the fourth, fifth, or sixth highest paid safety in his position, strong safety.
Well, you got a deal back in just a couple of years ago.
Right. So some of that has to do with his agent. You got to foresee what's going to happen in the future. So you got to do those deals that way. And the other thing is, if the team goes to each player, Now, Cam is not just a player.
Yes.
Remember that. And say, okay, we're going to rip it up and do a new deal. How many guys you think are going to be knocking at the door? Because this team has had a lot of success. And team success brings individual success. So you're going to have a lot of guys wanting to get paid based off of what this team is doing, whether it's there or somewhere else. Byron Maxwell leaves, he gets a huge deal. Thurman leaves, he gets another deal. See, a lot of guys leaving gets there. Unger leaves, he gets a new deal. So you gotta kind of stand, put your foot in the ground,
tough spot.
and stand your ground. But at the same time, how important is Cam Chancellor to your team success, to your defense success, and to that locker room? And at some point, you got to come in the room, call him in the room, and have a man-to-man conversation and work that out, in my opinion, and get him back on the field.
Well, I mean, it was the fourth most tweeted about game, Seattle and St. Louis last week, according to Twitter. We have that exclusive relationship with Twitter. We announce it every Monday.
Right.
That was fourth most tweeted about game. They're on Sunday Night Football this week.
Yes, they
in
are.
Green Bay.
Yes, they are.
Where there's an Aaron Rodgers who can find that guy trying to replace Cam Chancellor probably whenever he
Who do
darn
you think
pleases.
he's going to pick on?
Right. Period. End of story. Certainly if the guy fell down last week. Hey, Willie, thanks for coming in here.
Thanks for
really
having me,
appreciate
Rich.
it.
I
Please
love
come
coming
back.
by, man.
Thank you. Please come back.
Yep.
Please come back. Willie McGinest.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.